Good morning. A single word can change your entire perspective. Get to versus have to. The verb get versus the verb have. Any sentence that contains the words have to is framed from the perspective of lack. And it comes from the position of blame. Have to is victim mentality and perpetuates the notion of a lack of power, blaming others for your current situation or choices. Have to is a conditional verb. It expresses obligation, imaginary obligation. There's no responsibility in a have to sentence. There's only blame. Having to do something, go somewhere, or be somebody says, I lack worth and value. Others determine the use of my skills and time. And in short, I am powerless. On the other hand, sentences containing the verb get to are usually perceived as fruits of labor, harvested from a recognition of innate value and self-respect. Getting to do something, or getting to go somewhere, or getting to be somebody is the pinnacle of sovereignty. It's a position of complete power over the self. Get to is the perspective of having total freedom to create, which stimulates possibilities, because having power focuses on abundance. The freedom to express yourself is the purest form of creativity and the ultimate freedom. Here's 3 examples that shift from lack to power in sentences in the way that we talk. I have to walk my dog. If I say I have to walk my dog, I blame the dog, and I blame the idea of the dog and the dog's position in the world. The dog is the problem for me. And so now now the dog has complete control over me. That's not even sensible. If I say that I get to walk the dog, let me go back to the having to walk the dog for just a second. When you blame the dog for your choice in choosing to have that dog, for thinking that because you blame the dog for not fulfilling a need and a void that only you can fill. And that dog is supposed to alleviate you from responsibility for dog ownership, but ultimately it's for responsibility from self-ownership. So that dog is going to free you from yourself, but you will never be free from yourself. You will always have to deal with yourself, and you will always have to walk yourself. So when you say I have to walk the dog, you're really saying I have to walk this body, and that's true, you do. That's the only requirement you have. So you don't need to have a dog in order to have to walk. If you say I get to walk the dog, I get to walk the dog myself is I get to move my legs. I get to use my arms. I get to use my hands, my eyes, my body. I get to use my balance. I get to use my skills of navigation. I get to use every single skill I have, and I get to choose what I get to do with my time, and I get to choose what I get to do with this body. And so those are respectful situations of self-governing and ownership for you, and also for me if that's what I choose to do at the time. I choose to walk every day at 5 a.m. I've done it my entire life. And this has always changed and my focus for the entire day. I wake up in a state of gratitude, but I also continue to walk through the day and make sure that I'm using this body in its full potential. Another example is I have to wash the dishes. Well, yes, you do have to wash the dishes. And blaming the dishes for having to have hygiene is saying that I want someone else to take responsibility for myself. I want someone else to clean the dishes because I feel put out for having to live this life. If you feel put out having to live this life, that comes from a position of thinking that there's no worth. Why in the world would I be living? What's the point? So this is a position of blame, and then I have to seek others or seek other things, the dishes, to give me purpose and value. So don't blame the dishes. Do the dishes wash them just like you would wash yourself. If you say I get to wash the dishes, you get to experience the use of your hands and your eyes and your nose and your smell. You get to feel the hot water. You get to feel the feelings. You get to have the experience of all the essences of washing the dishes, of taking care of the self, of taking care of the dishes, of giving yourself a clean space and clean dishes with which to eat from and cook from. So another way to look at that is you get to, perhaps it's raining outside, you get to wash the dishes and you get to do it underneath in shelter. So you don't have to do it outside, which is wonderful. But you also get to use all of your skills that come naturally with this form, being in the human experience. So you get to wash the dishes. This is a privilege, being able to wash the dishes. So another one is I have to go to work. Now, if you say I have to go to work, then you're blaming the job for a position that you don't want to attend. So quit the job and get a job you do like, or go to work and appreciate the fact that you're learning skills that you can apply elsewhere. Stay in the job until you can find another job. Don't just quit the job. Or if you feel the need to quit the job because it's bringing you down, then try to have a situation where you're constantly doing work anyway, in some form, whether it's some kind of volunteer form or some other form. But saying I have to work blames the job for decisions that you're making. You chose to work in this job. Let's say you work at Starbucks. Starbucks has a massive amount of skills that you can use, that they teach you to bring forth in you. Approaching other people, talking, efficient work ethics, and skills from working both ways and cleaning up after yourself and others, making an environment that's inviting for all. If you say, I get to go to work, then you get to use your legs, you get to use your arms, you get to use your navigation, you get to use your torso, you get to use your balance, you get to exercise your back and your body, and your brain. You get to gather new skills. You get to take those skills and apply them to older skills and get new skills and create new ways to look at things. You get to figure out whether or not the use of your skills in this particular situation are useful for you. And then you can find out the things that you like or the things that you have already learned that maybe you don't need to keep learning. You can build on those skills, so it's time for you to move on. But there are other ways to look at this. When you say, I get to, other than I have to go to work, if you say, I get to go to work, you can find yourself in a situation of rich abundance of how much is offered to you. Look around to see what it is that's available. You can find other avenues of work from other people. You get to talk to other people and find out what interests them. Those interests may pique your own interests, not particularly in that particular way, but it may if somebody has an interest in plumbing, you might find that you actually like water and you like working around water. Maybe you want to be a botanist that works in the ocean with ocean plants, so an oceanographer or something like that. So you get access to other people's ideas and dreams, which is a free education, and on other options available for work or creative interests. So work, getting to go to work and getting to experience the world outside of you is a wonderful platform from which to formulate new perspectives. Every time you say, I get to do the dishes, mow the yard, or go to work, your body feels motivated because a smile has already formed on your face. This is a bonus. It's an instant facelift. So when you say I get to, you automatically feel good about the situation because you're choosing and you're taking control over that. And that automatically always makes everyone feel good when you're feeling like you're in control of your life. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about determinism here, so we're just going to go with this idea because we all live from a perspective that we are in control of our lives. So we all make choices based from that idea. And I'm just going to stick with that because for now, until I do another video on self-governing. The next time you find yourself thinking or saying, I have to go to work, change the sentence to, I get to go to work. I get to walk outside. I get to use my legs. I get to use my eyesight. I get to see. I get to use my hands. I get to use this body. I get to experience this life fully. Your mind will instantly focus on all the options and all the abundance in your life. Change your words and change your life. Thank you for watching. From the Seeker and the Sage, Namaste.